Good afternoon. Joining me here, Mayor of the City of Detroit, Mike Duggan, here to give you an update on the horrible crime that from 2 days ago. Again, I want to start out by just thanking once again our partners. As I said yesterday, our partner from the FBI under the leadership of Dave Gelios, the Michigan State Police, Colonel Christy Etchew, certainly Michigan Department of Corrections, members of the Toledo Police Department who have been very helpful during this time, the FBI's Cleveland office, and certainly without fail I want to acknowledge again our police department's homicide unit, violent crime unit, commercial auto theft, and all the investigators. As you recall, I pointed out that we had roughly here in this southeast region over 100 staff from different police agencies, primarily Detroit. 28 hours then, we're up to about 54 hours. So just going ahead, we want to just advise you that we're still very much actively investigating this case. Again, I want to just offer my condolences again to the family of Deontae Mitchell and his mom, Crystal Mitchell, what I had a chance to speak briefly with yesterday. We want to also just update you on those who are in custody. As you know, yesterday we did take the third suspect into custody, and as of this morning, the suspect who we were looking for, Roy Potus, was taken into custody at his home without incident, and he is now in custody at the Detroit Detention Center. We have from the very beginning been working very closely with the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, and I just want to stress that the prosecutor will make final determination on what the individuals will be charged with. As you know from yesterday, Gregory Walker is in custody in the state of Ohio. He's being held on a felony probation violation. His female companion also held in the state of Ohio, and she is being held on a felony warrant there while waiting charges here. And as we pass through that part of the investigative work, then we'll be moving forward with extradition on those two suspects. So again, we're continuing to work with Toledo, Ohio. And finally, before turning it over to the mayor, I just want to say that I want to acknowledge the men and women of the 9th Precinct under the leadership of Commander Ewing, who has met with the owner of the business, along with a community leader, a very good meeting, and so this owner understands being part of the neighborhood is critically important. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over for the mayor for some remarks.
Thank you, Chief. The tragedy of Deontae Mitchell has touched the hearts of all Detroiters, and I wanted to be here to start by thanking the Detroit Police Department and the other law enforcement agencies that did such remarkable work, the FBI, the Michigan State Police, and the Toledo Police Department, who were in with the federal agents on the arrest in Ohio. I had a chance earlier today to sit with 6 of the officers who worked the case, and from the time Deontae was reported missing at 1 a.m. Wednesday morning until the time the suspects were apprehended in Ohio on Thursday, the dedication of these police agencies was nothing short of remarkable. And sometimes you miss the personal toll it takes, because these officers, many of them are parents themselves, and like every parent in this community who saw that video of Deontae being pushed into the car, you thought about your own children. And they did everything that they possibly could have done. The most terrible moments being mayor of Detroit are when the phone rings late at night and I see that the call is coming from Chief James Craig, because the chief and I have an understanding that when tragedy hits, he calls me personally and briefs me on all the details. And I know when I answer that phone, I'm going to hear the story of another family whose life has been shattered by violence. And the story of Deontae being senselessly killed over such a small amount of money is one that's going to stay with us a long time. And I want Deontae's family to know that this whole city is grieving with them. When you lose a child in this community, it leaves a hole in the family, it leaves a hole in the neighborhood, it leaves a hole in their school, it leaves a hole in the entire community. And talking to the officers who did the investigation today, the story was very powerful about how much this community was behind them. You don't go from somebody committing a crime like this at 1 a.m. on Wednesday to having them in custody in another state on Thursday without help from the whole community. The officer said they've rarely seen anything like this. They had more than a half a dozen different individuals call with very valuable information that led them there. And I want to thank the media. You were an enormously positive partner in this. But people came from all over with critical pieces. And the last thing one of the officers said to me was, if we could build the relationship between the community and this department on every case, we could erase violence from this community. And we're going to do our best to do that, because no parent should have to suffer through what Deontae's family is suffering through today.